All right. So I'm in my hotel room and we are traveling this week. And what we're doing is some crazy inspections. Well, they're not necessarily crazy. So I don't bring all my tools in my car, but I do not like to leave all my stuff in my car when I go to hotels. So I bring it in with me. I've got like 15 cases, but I bring some of them in. So this one here, we did a case a couple days ago, and I call this my frequency case. And so in this case, we had somebody that was getting sick in their home. They're basically they're burping, and they couldn't figure out why they're always burping. And this was kind of a crazy one, and they didn't know what was up. So I spent about 5 hours in this house, and what ended up happening was I used this gauge here. I've got all types of frequency type gauges, but this one here is the one that solved that case. And what it was, this was an acoustometer, and basically measures frequencies, radio frequencies caused by routers, cell towers, things of that nature. Basically microwaves, some type of frequency that travels through your home, goes through your walls, etc. This particular person had a smart meter on the water meter, and when she got to the water meter where it transmitted the signal, it caused her body to restrict some of her muscles. And when she was within, like, I don't know, 5 feet of the water meter, and the water meter would send a signal it was different. It wasn't every 20 seconds, but every time it sent a signal, she would burp, and that was that. So basically, the smart meter was making this particular person sick. I had now this is kind of crazy. I didn't. I just I go on the road a lot. Not a lot, but a couple times a month. To different types of inspections. I am a home inspector, like, the regular kind of home inspector too. I've done, I don't know, 15, 17,000 home inspections. These are for pre-sale, sometimes non-disclosures, and I do some expert witness work too, trip and falls, things like that. Poisonings, poor construction, my bad driveway. And so this particular company actually had a complaint. People in California tend to complain a lot, and they bought this mattress, and they said that the mattress was making them sick because the mattress produced magnetism. So I went to the factory, and that's one of my magnet gauges. Okay, and it's got a probe, and I found out that in America, um, we have springs on our beds, and the way they design the springs to the coil machines, they become magnetized. And so, like, when you're looking at a bed like this, okay, I'm in a hotel room. You're probably wondering, what's that nasty blanket doing there? I'm one of those people that kind of like brings my own blanket, so I don't like to sleep on other people's stuff. So I put my blanket down and sleep on top and fold it over. It's just a comforter I throw around and bring with me. But if you test the spring here, a lot of them are magnetized. Now, if you think about it, the spring of a bed is almost the size of a half of a wavelength. And so if you've got, let's say, electromagnetic fields, you've got in the room, let's say you've got uh, other, let's say, harmonics caused by wiring in homes, in walls by dirty stray voltage, or different types of light bulbs that you use can cause harmonics. That can energize the springs, and there's a correlation of, in America, people sleep on the right side of their body, and 80% of the people, and left breast cancer, and that's your heart's on the other side. And if you look at the magnetic flux of a spring, the flux goes right through the left part of your chest. And so in China or Japan, they've got other kind of cancers caused by their little Fukushima accident. throat cancers and things like that, but they don't have very much left breast cancer, whereas in America we have tons of it. And so, there's some correlations saying that sleeping on mattresses can cause this or be, a contributor to it. And so people that sleep on the right side, which is less. Hey, thanks for coming on, Marty. Thanks for coming on and watching my videos. I appreciate it. I don't generally go live that much, but I want to try it out and see how it works. And so if you want to check magnetism, you don't need to hire me. Okay, get one of these things. Okay, these work great. And they're like $70. But you can get them. You should have one of these anyways in case you get lost in the woods. But you can use one of these, and this will point right to your mattress, and then it's magnetized. And so you might want to think maybe I'm not saying that this is real true science, but America does sell magnetized bed springs. I was hired by a mattress company, paid a lot of money, and I went to the factory, and guess what? They are magnetized. And then I've gotten kicked out of many, many furniture stores and mattress stores trying to go in with my gauges, and they just boot me right out and tell me it's fake junk science. Anyways, so that was one case I did. I had another one I did just recently, and that one I used a bunch of gauges. And this particular gauge is very easy. This one here, I tested the house, okay? And what happens is the woman would have to shut off all her power to be able to sleep and feel better. And I found out that the electric company was bringing in dirty voltage, because I went across the street and tested the house, and she was getting, this gauge only goes to 2,000. And I did, like if you have those compact fluorescent light bulbs, they will cause all your electrical wiring in your house to emit. It's harmonics, okay? And as you walk by, your body picks this stuff up, and if you're wearing tennis shoes and rubber soles and you eat normal American food, which is acidic, you now become a walking battery. And so if you got a house with a lot of those LED lights, a lot of them cause super high harmonics. Compact fluorescent light bulbs, don't even use those things. Those will just completely whack your house. And then other things that are plugged in your house will cause harmonics. And so if you want, you can buy a gauge like that and test for it, and start unplugging things. And anyways, we found out in this particular house, it wasn't her house. It was the power company. And so I don't know how we're going to fix this lady's house. This is what's called a particle counter. I kind of like this thing. Take one of these on an airplane, and they'll probably turn the plane around and kick you off and make you leave. But this is what's called aggressive particle profiling. You guys watch my videos on Facebook, and I talk about air, and you guys think I'm crazy. I'm not. I actually test it. This does six channels, okay? And this will pick up the large particles, that fall out, that get stuck in your nose, and then other ones that go down through your thorax, but it also picks up the super fine particles. Whenever I refer to 2.5, when I refer to cancer dust, if you guys are, by the way, you guys can friend me on Facebook, and you can watch. I do a lot of it on Facebook because it's easier. Cancer dust, I call, is 2.5 microns. And that's the kind of dust that goes right down into your lungs. And you don't necessarily have to see it. And the way I track it a lot of times is I just use regular satellites, mostly government, NASA, Null School. You can look up Null School, Earth Null School. Check it out, man. Go to particles or chemicals, and you can look and see, and you can actually watch. You can see the fires right now that are going on in Russia, and all that. It's all radioactive dust, going over to the poles. That's probably why the polar bears are emaciated. They probably have leukemia. They're not like starving because ice is melting. They've got leukemia because they're radioactive from all the radiation poisoning throughout the world. I mean, nuclear is not a good thing. I don't know where people think it is, but it's a serious problem. I mean, it's killing fish, and there's no more starfish and sea urchins in the Pacific because of all that leaking at those melted reactors over there. It's still melting today, man, 8 years later, killing the Pacific Ocean. So I use this gauge here to do particle profiling, and I could check attics. By the way, you home inspectors, if you're watching this, The last thing you want to do is open up an attic access panel without a mask on, because you're going to breathe all kind of bad stuff. And I've been doing it for 30 years, so I'm probably finished. I'm probably going to get sick from that. If I will definitely get sick from that because I didn't wear a mask for 33 years. All you new guys, do not open accesses. Crawl spaces aren't so bad because they're wet and moist, but the attics are dry and hot, and it's a problem. It's a problem. So wear a mask. Hey, Henry, what's up? Oh, Henry. Okay, so we have I have what's called here a combustion analyzer, and we're actually doing a case today. We're going up to West Virginia, and I've got another case. I'm going to go up into Detroit, where carbon monoxide caused a miscarriage. On this one here, they were non-disclosure, bad home inspector. Home inspectors do not test for carbon monoxide unless you know what you're doing. Okay, don't just take a monoxer and walk through the house and say, "Oh, it's good." I won't even test it if one of my gauges isn't working. And what you really got to do for carbon monoxide testing is you got to have a probe, okay, and you got to drill a hole. In the flue of the water heater in the furnace, and then you got to test the draft, and then you got to test for carbon monoxide with a combustion analyzer, and look at all the data that you get from that. And then you can say, hey, look, your furnace is safe. This whole cracked heat exchanger thing is kind of a scam. I mean, most heating guys don't have no clue. They hear there's carbon monoxide because the fire department was over the house, and they'll say, oh, you got a cracked heat exchanger, and then they look on a chart, and maybe it is cracked. But that doesn't necessarily cause carbon monoxide poisoning. There's a lot of things that can cause carbon monoxide in your house. One, I'll just go through them real quick. You could have dirt. Well, let's say you had a flood and you got dirt in your orifices, and then you're going to have incomplete combustion. Okay, and so dirt can cause it in your burners. Alignment. Let's say you drop the furnace before you put it in, and all of a sudden the burners aren't aligned anymore, and they're up against the heat exchanger, or they're at the wrong angle. Man, alignment will cause incomplete combustion carbon monoxide. Mechanical can cause it. Let's say you've got the improper blower speeds. Okay, somebody's messing around, they don't know what they're doing, and all of a sudden they cause issues with negative positive pressures and downdrafts and spillage. All of a sudden you get carbon monoxide. Then you could be overfired. Okay, if your gas is overfiring too rich, carbon monoxide. Underfired, it's not producing, not enough gas is getting into it, so your gas regulator could be causing it. Okay, what about if you don't have enough makeup air, it can cause it. Okay, then you got flue restrictions. Bird's nest can cause it. I did have a girl die. She was 33 years old because of a bird's nest, but it wasn't necessarily the bird's nest. It was the fact that she had a furnace in a small confined space in a closet, and she felt drafts. So she threw a sheet over her louver door, and then that caused incomplete combustion, carbon dioxide, and then it killed her. Okay, so carbon monoxide is pretty serious stuff. There's about 9 ways that you could be poisoned by carbon monoxide. And so that's what we're doing today. We're doing carbon monoxide. Anyways, I'm just trying to test my YouTube channel to go live, and I've got more gauges here, and we'll just kind of end it. I want to see how this works. We'll probably be doing podcasts this winter as soon as I get my little office and green screen put together, and check out the rest of my videos. Please rate and subscribe. Thanks for coming on.